All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Do Hard Things Weekly Wake Up. I'm Jay Teagues, and I have a studio with me, Angie Bertrand. How are you doing, Angie?
Good morning. I'm awake. I'm here. It's Monday, and I'm ready to get the week rolling.
This is an awesome week. It's Thanksgiving week.
It is. There's a lot to be thankful for.
Yes, absolutely. I
Mhm.
love this week. It's just a time of just slowing down and eating lots of food and just connecting with friends and family. So, really
Yeah.
thinking about gratitude this week. Also, I like your shirt. We did
Hey,
not
thanks.
plan this, but we have the same shirt. This is the Do Hard Things 9/11 run shirt. That
Yeah.
so you participate in that. You got this awesome shirt, and
Heck yeah.
so I thought that was funny with all the shirts that we have. But today I want to talk about overcoming fear and everyday courage. Now, oftentimes we've had shows where we or conversations here on the podcast. We talk about like taking big, bold action, like jumping from a plane or doing like
hmm
really epic things, and that's one form of courage. But sometimes we just need to have courage in our everyday life.
Yeah.
Like maybe like if you ever found yourself like procrastinating toward a deadline, something that you know you need to get done, but you wait till the last minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually because we fear taking on the pain of whatever that thing is. Like oftentimes you just gotta get started. Maybe
hmm
have you ever found yourself having a hard time telling someone no, no, thank you, only to find yourself like obligated to do something, and it's actually time to do the thing. You're like, man, why did I say yes to this? It's like,
Yes.
oh, if I only had the
Yes.
courage to say no.
Yeah. hmm Yep. It
Also think
happens.
about also think about like you ever wanted this is we're both married now, but like back when we were dating, have you ever found yourself like wanting to ask someone out or get into the dating pool and be like, oh, I don't know if they're going to reject me, so I
hmm
don't ask the person out. Uh, all of those things are like the everyday courage. Like if I just had a little bit more courage, it could really the outcome could be a little bit different for you. Um, so, another situation is like if I'm at work or maybe I'm on a team project, like you may not want to step up or say something. Maybe I always found myself like in school, like not wanting to raise my hand because what if I ask the stupid question, right? So I don't ask anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
That type of stuff is what I want to talk about today. So what do you think about that?
Yeah. Oh man. So I could talk a lot about everyday courage. I feel like a lot of times people don't go to the gym
Mm,
because they for lack of because they feel like they're going to be judged, right? And they don't have the
yeah,
courage to take that step to go in there and to be like, "F what you think. Who cares what you think? I'm doing this for me. I'm here for me." Um, our friend Nadine, she comes to mind. Man, she's got so much courage. She was very vulnerable, and she shared that, and she shared on Facebook. She shared with the world, so that's why I'm sharing here. But she talked about running and how she felt people would look at her because she doesn't look like that uh, media centric what they've brainwashed us to think that runners should look like, right? But she got out there and she did it. And I think about me, same thing, running on the installation, uh, obese, you know, and I'm out here running amongst soldiers and people that are fit and healthy, and it was very hard to just get out of my head and take those steps to just do it, to just do it.
yeah, we get in our heads sometimes because we're so scared of what other people might think. That's really one of the things that we really struggle with. It's the judgment of other people. What are they going
Yeah.
to think of me? What are they going to say of me? And yeah, it's crippling to people, especially when it comes. I know so many people like, man, I want to get back into the gym, but they might watch me, so I don't go at all. What if I look silly?
Mhm.
So I'd just rather avoid it altogether. And what is that costing you when you do that? And
Yeah.
so that's tough for people. It's a legitimate concern, but hopefully today we can give you some tools and strategies to help you overcome that. Um,
Yes.
describe a time, Angie, where you had to I don't know you had to really step up towards something and face something with some courage, take some bold action.
Oh gosh, you're putting me on the
I'm putting
spot
you right on the
here.
spot.
Step up. Yeah, with myself. I mean, literally with myself, I had to step up and step out and step outside. And people ask me all the time, how did you start running? Well, I started by walking, right? And I started by, and it was hard. Don't get me, I mean, I talk about it and I laugh a lot, but dude, it was so hard to get out there. And, I mean, you and I didn't know each other at that time, but I was pushing 300 pounds,
Yeah.
and you just have to get out of your head. You have to put the clothes on, you have to put the shoes on, you have to step out of the house, and then you just have to go. And I'm telling you, I know, I felt myself, I was like, oh my God, I'm dying. Like I felt like I was literally dying. I would be, I felt like I was running. I was probably walking super fast. I would get passed by other people who were definitely running. Um, but I kept going. I kept, I just didn't even, I just had to keep thinking. And that's why this brand Do Hard Things speaks to me so much, is because in my brain, in my mind, I just kept telling myself, you're doing hard effing things. You're just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. It doesn't matter what anybody says. Just keep going, and you're going to thank yourself a year from now. So that's what I did. I stepped up, took bold action for myself. And that when you step up and take bold action for yourself, it affects everyone around you.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. In so many ways, like, because you show up as a better version of yourself, so it affects them. It gives them courage and confidence. But when you face your fear, it gives you a sense of confidence, and that stepping up, I'm going to go on a limb and say that probably gave you a sense of confidence in other areas of your life.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I remember Michelle. She asked me, so she was training to do her, I think she did a marathon, and she was telling me about it. She was like, yeah, I run the troop trail out here on the installation. And I'm like, well, that's pretty awesome. I could never, in my mind, I'm like, I could never do that. And she invited us to do the Frog Hill 5K with her. It's my first 5K, and I'm like, and I was telling Rudy, I was like, for those of you that don't know, Rudy's my husband. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't even know why I said yes. It's 3 miles. Like the furthest I'd ever gone was 2 miles. And I'm like, I don't even know if I can do this. Like, I'm going to die. It's hot. It is hot out there. I'm just going to die. That's all it is. I'm going to die. But we showed up, and I'm like, Michelle, I'm going to probably walk most of it. She's like, no, girl, it's fine. That's fine. And she stayed with me the whole time. She encouraged me. Rudy was there. He encouraged me. I finished in under an hour, but that was my first fight. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. And the feeling of accomplishment, like, oh my God, I just did more than 2 miles. I did 3 miles. Holy cow. Yeah.
I remember this wasn't all that long ago, maybe, 10 years ago. Well, I guess it is a long time. I guess I'm dating myself. 10 years ago. I remember my first paddle race, and it was up here in, they used to have a race up here in the Gasconade. I wanted to do the MR340. The MR340 is a race from Kansas City to St. Louis via the Missouri River. It's 340 miles. But I needed to get a kayak. And I remember they had the Gasconade, it was like a 25-mile race up here. So I went and bought a kayak. Didn't really know anyone that was really doing the sport, but I found one. I asked some questions on the forum, on the Facebook, what kind of boat. So I got me a boat. And I remember showing up for the very first time with my boat. And it was a sea kayak. But I needed help getting it out because it's like 18 feet long. And like I show up and there's like all these people, they're putting all their gear on, looking all fancy. They got like these really sleek, shiny boats, and here I am with my big plastic, looking kayak, and I just felt like a fish out of water. I just felt like everyone was like knew each other because it's a very intimate community. I remember like for the first time, like, man, I'm feeling really intimidated here. I have no idea what I'm doing, what I'm getting myself into. I've never, I've paddled before, but with Bud Light and a bunch of crazy friends. Like not like a race though, completely different type of boat and everything. But I also remember that, I was scared, but after just talking to people, they were just happy to see me there because they don't see newer faces out there because it's such a niche sport. And I remember that I was just mortified. Like I almost thought about like turning around and just going home, because I'm like, man, what am I getting myself into? I'm a fish out of water here. But it turned out to be such a welcoming community. And I have found that with like gyms that I've been to, running groups, I've done various different types of cycling. There's always that trepidation of like, oh, you don't want to be the new person on the block or the new kid in class, right? Where do I sit at the cafeteria, type of thing. But normally, usually what happens is someone will wrap their arms around you and bring you in. And then with that level of confidence from doing it and then coming back again and again, you develop a little bit more confidence. You become desensitized to the fear that you face. So,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, and I think, a lot of it is just we build up this sense of people are going to judge us. People are going to look at us crazy. People are not going to accept us because we don't know what we're doing. But a lot of that is just self-imposed uh anxiousness, just us telling ourselves these things when, man, really, yeah, there's crappy people everywhere, right? But when you look at it overall, uh, I would say 95% of most communities that you're going to get into are so awesome, and they welcome you and they want you there. And I see it in runners groups a lot of times. People are like, "Oh yeah, I'm especially new runners. Oh yeah, I'm out there running, and I hate it when somebody goes by and says good job because it makes me feel like they're just being sarcastic." No, we really mean it. Like, I say
yeah,
that stuff all the time. I'm like, yay, I'm so glad you're here. And I mean, I'm really so glad you're here. Like, so glad you're here. And if people would just kind of get out of their head a little bit and accept that people are really glad you're here, there might be some assholes. There's always going to be a few assholes, right? They
yeah.
don't care. They don't care.
Just
I mean,
like,
yeah,
just be boldly you. And
yeah,
yeah, the things that we fear, the things that are mostly BS, like you said, it's in our own head.
yeah,
It's our own ego.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I'm bothered when someone says that they're thankful that I'm here. I mean, what's going on there? Like, what's really going on?
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so I don't know, but like you said, a lot of the fear that we face nowadays in our incredibly comfortable society is usually BS. It's fear of judgment from other people. We fear that we might fail and we might lose a little bit of our reputation. We might look foolish. We'll suffer when we feel that way. I don't know. We might fear the hardship of trying something new because if you get back into the gym or get back into a workout routine, the soreness that comes along with that, it's like, oh, it's going to be hard. It always is hard for the first bit.
You just made me think of something. So I was listening to a podcast a few weeks ago, and he was talking about fear of failure, that's what keeps a lot of people from trying new things, right? They're scared to fail. But instead of thinking about it as failing, right? And thinking about, oh my God, I tried this, it didn't work. How do I look to my friends and family? How do I look to myself? He said, reframe that as, hey, I tried. I tried something new. It didn't go as planned. Now I'm going to regroup and try again. And when you're talking to yourself about failure, reframe that. Instead of calling it failure, it's just a learning step, right?
Yeah,
It's just we don't wake up knowing everything, how to do everything perfectly. We have to try and fail. You're going to fail a million times before you get it right, right? So instead of it being this horrible negative thing, it's not failure. It's just a learning step, right? It's something that you got to get. Okay, it didn't work this way. I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try it this way now.
yeah,
Um, and that kind of made me go, you know what, you're right. Because there's many times I've done that to myself, like, oh my gosh, I did this and it didn't go right, and now I'm embarrassed. I don't want to do it again. And what if I fail again? So what? Like, that's what life is. It's about trying new things, not getting it right, but learning from it. So the next time, hey, now you've got more tools in your toolbox to try it a different way.
absolutely. I think about love him or hate him, Elon Musk, and I think about like he's got this lofty goal of putting people on Mars. Right? It's
Hmm.
incredible. It's an incredible feat.
Yeah.
And they measure success through the failure of the rockets that they're projecting. He was recently asked about, how does it feel? You're raising all this money to, get these rockets into space, and what do you feel like when they explode? Well, actually, we're excited about the failure because that
Mhm.
means that we've learned something new that we can apply to the next rocket. And the more that we fail, the more that we've learned about our capabilities and our resources and technologies to get it
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
so I also think about Edison, right? it took him like, the story is that it took like 10,000 light bulbs before he finally got one to actually work, right? It was through the repetitive process of being told no, being rejected over and over and over again. And anyone that has done something significant in their life has faced some form of failure. So I think we can be kind of harsh on ourselves. But through that failure, you learn. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about processes. And then what happens if you do win?
Yeah. Yay, we're there.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
then we just keep perfecting it. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. Yeah. I remember the first time that launching this podcast, the first couple episodes, like, oh man, I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm going to sound like an idiot. Maybe I just do sound like an idiot, but I just have become like, I just don't care what people think. I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And because it brings me joy. I generally love these conversations. It's incredibly selfish. It's just a bonus that people actually listen. So it's, but I had to get out of my own way and in my own head.
Yeah.
You were nervous the first time when I asked you to come on here, you were nervous, right?
Yeah. I still am every single time, but I just do it, whatever.
But you just do it anyway. And why is that? Let's dissect that for a second. Why? So you're still nervous. I get nervous every time I'm like, hey, we're going to hit play. But I think when we talk about high performance, it's like, it's not paralyzing us. The fear is still there, but we're not allowing it to paralyze us. And so what is it that enables you to overcome your fear?
Just knowing the more I do something, the better I'm going to get at it. I mean, what is this? The fourth time I've been on the show?
Fourth, yeah.
Yeah. I could sound like a complete babbling buffoon. Who knows? I mean, who knows?
You sound great, by the way. Yeah, you sound amazing.
I don't think I do, but
yeah.
But the more I do things, I know the more I do it, the better I get, the more comfortable I get, the more confident I get, and the more at ease I feel. And so it's with everything in life that I do. The more I do it, repetition, doing it over and over, builds confidence. I learn, hey, let me double check and make sure that drawer is not sticking out, because I don't like things looking cluttered in the background in the event someone tunes in and watches this. You know what I mean? But, it's just little things you learn. It's just like with photography, I look back and I know that when I look back 10 years ago, my work was kind of crap. Like, I can see that. And I can see how I progressed. And I remember being so anxious, going to new situations. And I still am. I get very like, okay, I have to take a deep breath. I have to calm myself down. And then I have to work through the process. And then I have to try the things. Okay, let me try this setting. Let me try that setting. Let me see how this looks. And it's either going to come out really great or it's not. But at least I take notes. I learn from what I do. And the next time I go into that situation, I have the tools that I need to get better. It is what it is. Like, that's just the process. And I'm pretty sure that's the process for not just me. I'm pretty sure it's the process for everybody.
It's a process for everyone. Absolutely. Yeah. We all have to face that. We have to face and go through that. So that's how we get more. There's that confidence loop. Like, the more confident you gain in something, the more competent you learn something, the more confidence that you'll gain. It doesn't mean that the fear is not there, but it does desensitize you and keeps you from being paralyzed.
Yeah.
And so that's where we want to get to. So that's what I tell people. Like, if there's something that scares you, what's going on there, and how can we, let me just run through this. Here's a quick little process that you can do. The first thing you want to do is identify, what are your fears? And there's really, 4 types of fear. It's the fear of pain. If I jump out of the plane, I might hit the ground, so there's pain. So think of something that you want to do, but there's pain associated. If I go to the gym, it's going to hurt because I have not been in a while. I want to avoid that. That sucks, right? I don't want to bungee jump, because what if the string breaks and I hit the ground? Whatever it is, there's physical pain. Then there's the pain of losing something. If I go to the gym, I may lose out on my personal time to watch Netflix, or my family time, or, maybe I will look silly, so I will lose some of my reputation, right? So there's the fear of losing something. Mm-hmm. Then there's the fear of process. If I take on this hardship and do this thing, there's a learning curve. Like a lot of people, like they like to lift at the machines because it's easy versus like going to like a CrossFit gym or going to like an Olympic weightlifting gym because there's techniques that you'd have to learn, so we avoid the process of learning. And then ultimately there's the outcome. If I put in all the work that, hey, maybe my life's not going to improve. So we just avoid it altogether because we're comfortable now. We're familiar with what's happening now versus the uncertainty of the future. So those are the 4 types of fear. And then if you can specifically identify, like, what is it that we fear? And I would tell people, get a pen and paper and list all the things that you fear. So let's start off with the just randomness, right? So like, I'm scared of heights. Some people are scared of like creepy crawlies, like snakes and bugs and things like that. Bees.
I'm scared of the dark.
You're scared of the dark. Okay, there's a good one.
I'm scared of talking to someone I don't know for the very first time in a public setting.
And that's hard to. The funny thing is, it's usually when you say that, like, it's hard for me because you're such a bubbly, outgoing person. I would never have guessed that, right? People are scared of water, so they don't want to go swimming. Maybe someone's scared of confined spaces. Speaking in public, mortifying to people, right? So what are the things that you're scared of? And make a nice long list of what you're scared of, and then rate them 1 to 10. 10 being like the most mortifying. And then you'll kind of like gauge, okay, these are the worst things. These are some of the other things that they're not so bad. They don't paralyze me, but they make me incredibly uncomfortable. It could also, and other things I want you to think about is like maybe leading a team, being put in charge of something. Maybe if you're single, asking someone out on a date, telling someone you care about that they're messing up. It'd be a loved
that's
one,
a tough one.
Coworker. Yep. Tough conversation. Maybe the boss is making a bad decision. It's not going to end well, but having the courage to step up and say something. Just ultimately putting yourself out there. Like maybe there's a career change. Maybe you want to tell the world, you want to come out and tell the world your sexual orientation that's counter to what you've grown up with. That's a big one, right? So what are the things that you're scared of? And make that list. And that will help you identify, what it is that you may need to work on. The second thing that you can do once you have your list is just acknowledge them. Acknowledge that these are my legitimate fears. I think I mentioned it. Go ahead and score them, but score them on a scale of 1 to 10 and kind of rate them in order. And then the third thing is now you're going to have to find ways to gradually desensitize yourself. You need to work on that list and come in contact with the things that you fear. Educate yourself on the fear. So like, it could be something basic like, okay, I don't like snakes. I'm terrified of snakes. Well, not all snakes will bite you.
That's true.
So maybe you start to study snakes. Maybe you determine which ones are the truly venomous ones versus the ones that are non-venomous ones. There are some snakes that are incredibly docile to humans. You can pick them up and they almost become like they're charmed with human contact. They won't do anything. It's probably a horrible example. People look at me like, are you crazy?
No.
Care about...
Fun fact, the ringneck snake, when they feel threatened, I looked this up. They excrete, they basically fart. That's their mechanism.
That's their mechanism.
They fart.
My daughter does that when I get contact with it. No.
Okay, carry on.
but it's having some education, right? Like on the topic. Let's see here. So speaking in public, people are mortified to speak in public. Well, the best way to desensitize yourself to that is finding opportunities to speak in public. And you can start gradually. You can take go to a Toastmasters course where they welcome that, and you're in that safe environment where you have someone that's going to coach you and mentor you and put you in a position to practice without judgment, because everyone there, it's a judgment-free zone, but it will give you the ability to gain that competence. So when you need to do it at work or at church or in a real setting, you can do it with a little less fear and you get out there and do it. So it's basically finding opportunities for gradual desensitization. Mm-hmm. And it's finding opportunities to become more competent in the thing that you fear. Yeah. And really it's doing the hard thing and facing it. I'm scared of heights, but I have over the years worked on desensitizing myself to it through, the Army, making me go to air assault school and rappelling, like just absolutely terrifying to me. But trusting, just listening to the instructors, having trust in my equipment and just through practice, I have become desensitized to it. It doesn't paralyze me like it did when I was younger, but that was through every time I faced it. Like, it was just like first couple of times mortifying. Then the more that I did, like, okay, I got this. I can do this. I'm praying to God. Like, okay, I'm going to make it through today, and I still, to this day, like the thought of getting out and getting up on something tall scares me, but it doesn't necessarily paralyze me like it used to.
Yeah.
It's just through natural gradual desensitization.
Yeah. What comes to mind is not fake it till you make it, but fake it till you become it.
Oh, like
as you're faking it, as you're going through the motion, you're actually creating new neural pathways in your brain.
yeah,
Just happened to listen to another podcast on Friday, and they were talking about this. But the big thing is, you fake it, you continue to do it until it becomes second nature. But by then, you've rewired your brain. You've got those new neural pathways in there. And you're making it.
absolutely. And
Science.
it's science. You're scientifically desensitizing yourself. It's not like the fear isn't there altogether. It's just not paralyzing you.
Yeah.
So, no, it's all mental. It's all in your head. Everything's all in your head.
It is. Literally.
All right. So, for those out there, like, how would your life improve if you had more everyday courage in your life? What would you stop doing? If you had more courage, what would you stop doing? Would you stop saying yes to everybody? People pleasing everybody? What would you stop doing? Then what would you start doing? I'd go to that gym. I'd ask this person out. I've been crushing on this person for a long time. They're single. I'm single. Mm-hmm. I'd ask them out on a date.
Try the new thing. Hey, if you're scared of, it took me, I was talking about going to the gym and strength training for, I don't know, a year and a half, but I just didn't, I felt out of my element. I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. So I finally just hired a personal trainer, man. Hired a personal trainer. She's teaching me all the things, teaching me what I need to know, with the goal that I'll be able to do it without her on my own. She's amazing. But it took that step of, I'm like, I really need to strength train. I really want to strength train. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to go in the gym and look like an idiot and do the wrong thing. I don't want to hurt myself. But then I hired a trainer, took the step, did the thing.
But Angie, that costs money.
Yeah, that does. I mean,
it costs money.
That's
I hear that all the time. Like, so what you're saying is investing in yourself is not important.
It's so very important. Yeah, that's where you got to set your priorities. My priority maybe is not going to Starbucks every day and taking that $5 a day and putting it in over here, moving it here in the priority to invest in myself envelope and using it for something else.
Absolutely. Investing in coaching and mentorship in every realm. We talk about do hard things, your health and wellness, affluence and wealth, relationships, development, all those things. If you need to find coaches and mentors that know what they're doing to help you shorten that learning curve, you'll make significant traction in your life. So absolutely.
And you'll surround yourself. You'll surround yourself with other people that are doing the same. And you are the sum of the 5 people that you surround yourself the most with.
Absolutely. That's so incredibly important. So incredibly important.
Yeah.
So who's in your corner? Who's around you? Who's supporting you, clapping when you win? Or are they pulling like crabs in a bucket? Or are they pulling you got a bunch of people that are judging you, and you're scared to take action because you can't be congruent with who you are. You can't live your best life because of the fear of the people around you. You may want to take inventory. Are you around the right people?
Definitely not.
People? Yeah.
Oh, guess what? You have control of who you surround yourself with. Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew? I wish I'd known that, I don't know, 15 years ago. That, I have the control. I don't have to be friends with these people. I don't have to be around these people. I can choose the people that I'm around. Oh, wow. It makes such a difference.
And that's not easy because they're like, man, I'm just comfortable being around these people. They know me. It's always hard to go out and make friends. I'm very introverted. So the thought of going out and making friends, it's tough. It's tougher, but it's absolutely worth it. When I started changing who I hung out with, my life got significantly better because now I've got a bunch of people around me that clap when I win. It feels good.
Yeah.
But it's hard to make new friends, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Hey, point yesterday, we were getting tattoos. Katie's on the table, bitching and moaning. Jenny's like, suck it up. Suck it up. You're fine.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the type of friend you need. Not the one that goes, it's okay. You don't have to do it. It's hard. You don't have to do hard things. Sometimes you need the people in your life that say, suck it up and just get it done, man. You'll
Absolutely.
be good.
Absolutely.
You'll be fine when it's over.
Absolutely. Get people around you that are going to tell you to suck it up and do hard things. Absolutely. Your life will be infinitely better. So, well, for those that are out there, so think about courage. How could you be stepping up more in your life? Is there anyone in your life that you could be more honest with when it comes to your true feelings? If you had to have more courage in life right now, what would you start doing? What would you stop doing? And if you need help with that, if you're watching live, I'm actually teaching 2 workshops on the topic of courage this week. But it's one of the topics that we talk about in our mastermind group, the Forge, and helping people overcome fear and gaining more confidence. It's a pillar of high performance, and a lot of people they don't really look at how they can develop courage. It's just something I wake up today and am I courageous today to take action or not? We don't really think about how do we develop it. But if you want to work on that, you want to improve on that, then let me know, because I've got some workshops specifically on the topic of courage. And that'll help you develop more confidence in yourself. It'll give you, make you more decisive as a leader, so you can make decisions more clearly, and you'll gain the momentum in your life to really get that big breakthrough. So if you need help with that, definitely reach out. There's a couple of different methods to help you do that. So
reach out to Jay. Reach out.
Absolutely.
Reach out to Jay. Get in that network of people where you're all doing the same thing, thinking about the same way, moving forward together. It's great. Yeah.
Surround yourself with a tribe of people working together. That's what the Forge is all about. All right. So now, my favorite time of the week, we're going to do our weekly wake up.
Drum roll.
Oh, I didn't even tell you. Usually we kind of wrap beforehand, and I didn't tell you who it was this week. You're going to love this one. Oh, yeah. Look at this guy.
Oh,
this is Craig Horseman. And I'm incredibly proud of Craig. He just wrapped up his bachelor degree, and it took him the journey that he's been on to finish his degree with Park University has been a roller coaster ride. For those of you that have served in the military, trying to get your degree is incredibly challenging when you're trying to manage deployment, your requirements of the day-to-day job. You've PCS from one location to the next, like you move from you're assigned from one base to another. You may have to restart your degree program. I know it took me 10 years to complete my bachelor degree. It took Craig a while, and he's been pushing really hard to get it done. And he just graduated with his bachelor degree from Park University. And on top of that, Craig has been going through a series of challenges recently and facing a lot of hard things with courage. And so I just want to honor Craig. We would not be here. I tell you, this podcast, this branding, it would not be here without Craig laying down the gauntlet and challenging me to do 75 hard. It was through that process that helped me. You want to talk about having people in your corner and the 5 close people in your life. Craig is one of those for me. And he changed the trajectory of my life by issuing a challenge, for having someone in my corner. Craig, I appreciate you. And you're this week's Do Hard Things Nation Weekly Spotlight winner.
Craig, we're so proud of you, Craig. You're awesome.
Craig is awesome.
You're living it. You're living the Do Hard Things mantra.
He just recently wrapped up a 23-year career in the United States Army. So you're going to talk about lifestyle of doing hard things. So we appreciate your service. Thank you for what you do. And
thanks for being you, Craig.
Thanks for being you, brother. So
yes.
All right. So any other final thoughts on the topic of courage or anything else before we call it a day?
Hey, I challenge each and every one of you that listen to this, that watch this, that's here, that's joined us, that's going to join us. Do something that is courageous. Do something that challenges you. Do something that requires courage. And guess what? That's going to make you smile. I always say, do something that makes you smile. When you do something that is courageous, it's just a byproduct of it. And you don't have to smile on the outside. Some people don't smile on the outside. Some people smile on the inside, and that's fine too. But when you do something, challenge yourself. Pick one small thing. Challenge yourself today. Do something that requires some courage, and then thank yourself for it later. Happy Monday.
Do the hard things. Have a great Thanksgiving. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yeah. Heck yeah.